Well, this ride is still standing but not operating. I think it operated in 8 days this year, and I was so lucky to ride it one day back in the 10th of May 2024, and since then it hasn't been operating. Holy moly, goddamn, what an investment. Shortly described, Top Thrill 2 is a monstrosity to ride, and it's also a technical monstrosity. They don't know how to fix this ride. But I'm of course here to give a non-biased review of my one and only ride back in the 10th of May 2024. Yes sir. And let us just say quickly, this roller coaster is nothing like King Dakar or the old Top Thrill dragster anymore, but I say this in the best way possible. And clearly Intamin has given up on Top Thrill dragster. They didn't want to work with Cedar Point no more to fix it, so they chose Sam Perla, and they did a great job. If it worked, but the coaster experience is awesome, and I'll go into that right now. And the overall presentation of this ride is also awesome. You can see the new paint job they've done. It is amazing. The white and red looks awesome, and the black columns to support the structure. And the awesome new ride vehicles also look like a modern take on the old Top Thrill dragster terrains. And there's also a cool detail when the countdown starts for the ride launch. The top hat columns have lights that supports the initiation of the launch. I don't know how to speak English anymore, but you get the meaning. What I'm trying to say is that the top hat structure has lights that helps count down to the launch. Yeah, okay, now you understand. Overall, the new area for Top Thrill 2 looks nice. It looks clean, but yet it's very empty, and you know why. Now let's talk about the pure ride layout and how it felt on this only ride I got on Top Thrill 2. I was lucky/unlucky enough to get the middle seat of the train, and as you board this new train from Sam Perla, you can really feel that this is just another type of Intamin train. But I really think the Intamin trains are a bit better. The restraints feel a bit better. These were a bit hard. The comfort of the trains are similar to the new Mack Rides trains that you can find on Ride to Happiness or Blue Fire at Europa Park. As you slowly move out to the launch section area of Top Thrill 2, you can hear the awesome soundtrack for Top Thrill 2, and this also builds the excitement up, man. This is an awesome soundtrack made, and you can hear it around the whole plaza area of Top Thrill 2. Now let us all talk about the feeling of the first launch. It goes from 0 to 74 miles per hour, and you can actually feel a bit of kick at the start of this launch, but the launch section is so long that it feels a bit awkward when you reach the 74 miles per hour. And now you slowly begin to move up the 420 foot top hat, and you can really feel that there is no way you can reach the top of this top hat with this speed. And now the train stalls approximately 40% to halfway up this huge top hat, and you can actually already feel that you get a bit of airtime, a little bit of tickle in your tummy, and this little stall only builds the excitement even more up because you know what's about to go down. But before hitting the awesome second launch, you have this awkward moment where you go backwards around 70 miles per hour on a long straight track. You have a few seconds where you just look like, okay, I'm going backwards. Now let's talk about the star of the show of this ride, and that is the second launch. This launch takes you to 101 miles per hour, but remember, this one goes backwards, so it feels so intense. And it also feels like that this backwards launch has much more kick than the first launch, and this is also the only place where you can get that fast on a backwards launch. And the swing launches on the new generation Intamins are nowhere near the experience you get on Top Thrill 2. And now you're ready to go backwards up the 420 foot spike stall, and the profiling of the spike stall is quite sharp at the bottom, which means you get intense amounts of g-force when you go up the spike stall. And unlike other stalls, you really go the full 420 foot up in the air, and it really feels like you go out in the abyss. Do you say that? Into the abyss? Out in the abyss? I don't know, man. But the point is, it feels like you're going to fly to space backwards. So this is a pretty cool element. And once the train approximately hits the 400 foot mark on the spike, the train begins to stall, and you can really feel the awesome amount of hair time you get. Oh, I said hair time again. God damn it. But this is the best stomach drop feeling you get on Top Thrill 2. It almost feels like it's a drop tower. So this is just awesome. Now it's of course time to go back down the huge 420 foot spike, and the excitement is at an all-time high. And going out of the spike, you yet again feel the intense pull out of the spike, and the g-forces really hit the train and the ride, of course. And remember, you have a little roof by the spike pull out, and this is one of the scariest head chopper moments I've ever experienced. When you go down the huge spike stall and see the little train station roof, you don't think that you can fit there, but you know that it's possible, of course, man. So But I could also remember that this is one of the moments where I don't put my hands up because the clearance is so close to my head that I don't feel like it, and this doesn't happen very often. Now we have reached the third and final launch of this coaster, and this takes us up to 120 miles per hour, and it really also has a lot of kick to it, so that's also quite awesome. That's a big plus in my grade book, and I'm actually very surprised over how much kick there is to this roller coaster compared to 100 and 120 miles per hour. And yes, of course the train does shake a bit when you go 120 miles per hour, but it isn't really bad when I compare it to Red Force, the back row. I actually think that the middle row of Top Thrill 2 feels better at 120 miles per hour, and remember Red Force goes 112 miles per hour. And now let's get into the best 10 seconds of any roller coaster experience ever around the world. Now you yet again go up the 420 foot top hat, but now you have 120 miles per hour train going with you, and this is a whole nother level. The pull up on this top hat element, oh my goodness, you feel the G-forces. There's intense amount of G-forces, man. And now you can't seem to catch a breath on this ride because suddenly you twist 90 degrees up this intense top hat, and the 90-degree twist is very intense. It almost feels like an ejector airtime sideways pop. I don't know how to describe it, but it's really intense and really fast. I can compare the 90-degree jolt in your body to Expedition G-Force in the back row or Conda in the back row. And of course it feels like a spaceship when you go up this enormous top hat. And once you've reached the top hat, you only have a few seconds to take the view in. Oh my goodness, this has an awesome view, and that is also because of the location Cedar Point has out at the peninsula and all of the water you can look at. Oh my goodness, and the other coasters. There's so much to take in, but you can't because you only have a few seconds, man. And the amount of speed we had over the top hat was crazy, but I only got a combination of flowjector airtime, and that could be the placement of where I was at the train. Of course I was in the middle row, and it is of course a crazy and scary moment to get that amount of airtime at 420 feet. Going from the top hat and down the 270 degree downward spiral thing, I don't know what you call it, your bum never hits the seat again before you hit the pull out of the top hat, of course. And that 270 degree twist really gives some laterals to the riders of the trains. And I would also say that I prefer the spiral twist over Red Force's 90 degree twisted drop, but that could also be because you take Top Thrill 2's top hat with a much higher speed than Red Force, and you can really feel that it gives a difference down the last drop. And then you of course receive great amounts of intense G-force when you hit the pull out of the ride, and then you hit the brake run, and then you are quite sad, man, of course, because you'll never get to ride it again. Oh, sad, man. And that completed my fully in-depth walkthrough of Top Thrill 2's layout. And now let's talk about the last part of this video, where I'll discuss the star elements and what this ride could do better, and then we'll give it a score from 1 to 10. I can shortly describe Top Thrill 2 as scary, intense and awesome. And the star element of this ride is of course the 3 launches. They all have great amount of kick and acceleration, and then as you hit the stall, oh my goodness, that is crazy. The airtime you get at the top and the intense G's at the pull out. The second backwards acceleration is by far the best acceleration, but that is also because of the great amount of kick and the feeling that you go backwards. It just doesn't feel normal as when you go forward, of course. And then combined with the great amount of positive G-force and intensity going up to the 420 foot top hat, and then the 90 degree twist that feels like a car crash, and then up to the top hat where you feel awesome airtime and you don't hit your seat before you go down the spiral downwards 270 degree drop. Damn. The only half awkward / half dull moment on this ride is after the first stall, after the first launch, of course, where you go down this long, I don't know what you call it, this long launch track, but you only travel around 70-60 miles per hour. That feels a bit awkward, but then the second launch kicks in, and then we are at a whole nother level again. And that is why Top Thrill 2's coaster experience gets a 10 out of 10 for me. There's nothing like this around the whole world right now, and it could also be a dream come true for fans and Cedar Point if this roller coaster ran perfect for the 2025 season, but I don't really know, man. If I'm being completely honest, Top Thrill 2 has a chance to break my top 15, maybe top 20 roller coaster list, so let's see, man. And now I want to hear your thoughts about my review and what your thoughts are about Top Thrill 2 and its situation. Do you think it will be reliable and ready for 2025, or have you already ridden this coaster like me? Are you the one of the lucky ones? I don't really know, but let me know, please. And if you want to, you can support the channel with a like, a comment, or a subscription. So please get me to 1K followers. And now I'm gonna say bye bye.